What I wanted to do was tell the next chapter in the Alien Isolation story, kind of what happened next. Alien Isolation 2 takes place months after the events of Alien Isolation, so we're really close. The lab that was in the first game that was jettisoned by Marshall Waite has crash landed on a planet's surface. So I think as part of that opportunity of the sequel was being able to tell a new story within the context of the isolation journey through the eyes of a new character, Blake, who is kind of Whaling Tani management. So we're kind of seeing things from a slightly different perspective this time. They're a character that obviously hasn't encountered the alien before. She follows in a very strong tradition of strong female lead characters within the IP.
Safety procedure sequence successful.
Obviously the original came out 12 years ago and super proud of what we put together. It felt like we were doing something different at the time, something new, but super excited that it kind of found an audience and people who really kind of connected with that experience. Obviously I had been thinking about a sequel prior to the release of the original game. Been something at the back of my mind. I think it's just things need to fall into place. I guess the truth is, as a studio, we've been really busy for the last couple of years, and so I guess it wasn't till recently that it's felt like, okay, maybe that was the right time to return. Obviously, having so much support from our fans over the years asking for a sequel has been fantastic and super valuable to us. We really loved the first game, but we absolutely didn't want to kind of copy and paste what we did in the past and just like stick a two on it. You know, we really wanted to do something that absolutely matched the original and went beyond, create something that was truly memorable. Really returning to the strengths of the original and obviously looking to see where we can improve and expand. I think for us the core is that kind of ultimate game of cat and mouse, the perfect organism with the focus on survival, not killing, the tools they have at hand, some skill, probably a bit of luck to overcome this incredible creature, which is again systemic, it's not scripted, it's just using its senses to try and track you down. So it's looking for you and listening for you. And I suppose that's the foundation of what we were trying to do, of what we wanted to return to and build upon. So I think its kind of heart is the same. Makes it fresh is the context, the new world, the new story, the new protagonist, the new tools and gadgets that we're going to be giving the player. I think at its core, it's the experience is kind of being hunted by something is kind of universal and almost timeless. And we are finding new ways to expand and in kind of really meaningful ways, really terrifying ways, all to create the kind of greatest alien isolation experience possible. So our new location, Kurosaki Station, which is on a new planet within the IP, OV921, is that new canvas for us to tell a new story. Like I said, it enables us to have those really claustrophobic interiors, which people know and love, and where the player feels really trapped and claustrophobic and they want to get out. But now we have these exterior spaces where once the player manages to get out, and after that initial rush of, yes, I'm no longer trapped, they start to slowly feel quite exposed and vulnerable, and actually they'd quite like to get back inside again. Having the player ride that kind of seesaw of emotion and motivation is making the sequel really special. We take that core isolation experience, the cat and mouse. It's about movement, it's about choices, about line of sight, very kind of simple building blocks. And they work for the interior spaces, but they also work really well for the exterior spaces. But then you add in all the tools and gadgets that we can give the player, plus new ones to help them divert, distract, disrupt, all in order to try and change the odds of survival and to make it absolutely terrifying. It feels like a really natural extension. The first game, no means perfect. We do feel like there's opportunities there. And one of those things, I suppose, is, I think there's a bit of a meme that Alien Isolation is a game about hiding in lockers. It really isn't a game about hiding in lockers, but I think maybe some may have hidden a locker and it may have saved them, and then they feel too scared to try and too much more else out. And then maybe it does feel like it's a game about hiding in lockers. And so I think one of the things we can do, the sequel, help players understand the opportunities that all of these different tools and gadgets that they have at hand, how they might be useful to them and how they might change the odds. We start from being inspired by the movie, that 1979 original Ridley Scott movie. For Isolation, I think it is about stepping back into that original. That was the original inspiration and the IP. There's been some really interesting new innovations and directions. I think we feel like there's such a rich vein within that original 1979 absolute masterpiece that we want to build on and explore. That's the world that is, I guess, our greatest focus and greatest inspiration. Lighting is incredibly important, key component of the experience. We're using Unreal as our engine. We're writing our own custom lighting and audio in order to really, I guess, tune and tailor the experience to exactly how we want it to be. I guess the question for us is, what would it genuinely be like for us to be able to transport you so you encounter that creature, taking the player to a new world in which they encounter the alien in a new exterior environment. Felt like a really, really amazing opportunity because we could bring a lot of the things that we've done in the past, all the immersion, all the atmospheric, but put it in a new context whilst keeping a lot of the things that people knew and loved about the original. Technology has moved on, the tenets and the approach has remained the same, that it's unpredictable, kind of mysterious, unknowable, that you are, as a player, underpowered and underprepared, and that this creature is able to learn from every encounter they have with the player and adapt their behavior based on that. Now they're doing it in two quite distinct environments, the interiors and exteriors. The player will have some returning tools and gadgets, plus some new ones, and the alien has to take those into account. So today, again, we're only showing a glimpse, and we'll be talking more about that in the future and showing more in the future.
やってくれたわね。大きな損失よ。こんな失態を見逃す会社ではないの。これは最後のチャンス。